Girl Thacker, and I love the Paddington movies. Not only are they highly enjoyable family films, but they are just great films. Paddington and Paddington 2 are fantastic films, and I adore them so much. So of course I was excited for a third Paddington film, but I was also hesitant, because this is the first Paddington film without Paul King as the director, as he directed Wonka instead. And as we've seen with the first few Paddington films and Wonka, Paul King is very good at creating great family movies that have that special whimsical feel to them. And I was worried that without Paul King directing that something would be off, and it would be a disappointing ending to what could have been a great trilogy. So now you've seen Paddington in Peru, it's really good. When Paddington's Aunt Lucy goes missing, Paddington and the Brown family go to Peru to find her, but then they discover something much bigger. But before we get any further into this review, I've never had Marmalade. Let's change that. This seems like a good time as any to finally try some good old Marmalade. At least that's what Paddington would have me believe. Okay, so I don't dislike it, but it's chunky. There's a lot of chunky orange parts in here, and the texture is what's throwing me off. Like, the flavor itself is good. I just wish there wasn't a lot of chunky orange bits. Like, it is a good taste. I just wish there wasn't the orange chunky bits. So, yeah, I think Paddington in Peru is overall really good, but not great. Compared to Paddington and Paddington 2, it's definitely the weakest of the Paddington movies, but I think that is understandable to a point, because I mean, it's Paddington and Paddington 2, some of the best films ever made. But I do think the absence of Paul King did prevent Paddington in Peru from being on the same level as the first two. There's just something lost with this one that was there in the first two. I will say Douglas Wilson, this film's director, does do a decent job of recapturing that whimsical feeling of the first two Paddingtons. But I just don't think it was quite enough. Although good job for a directorial debut. There's something that I can straight up point to that makes this just really good and not great. It's just not a great movie, but I still think it's really good. A highly enjoyable and overall well-made film. First of all, I do want to mention the recasting of Sally Hawkins as Mrs. Brown. This character is now played by Emily Mortimer, and the reason why she didn't return is because she felt like she had done all she could done with the character. But every time the character was on screen, all I could think was recast, and when it comes to some of the more emotional scenes, it makes them not hit as hard, because I'm not thinking of what's going on in the scene, I'm just thinking about the recast. And I did like the villains. I overall thought they were good, mainly Antonio Banderas. I like seeing Puss in Boots as the villain of a Paddington movie, but in all seriousness, I thought he did a good job. But one thing that I did notice is that this is significantly less funnier than the first two Paddingtons. I got a handful of laughs, but not nearly as many as usual. Although the effects in these movies just get better and better with every one. Not just Paddington, but the effects on everything look great. And while this movie didn't have a bad ending, I think it has an ending that feels a little bit too forced. I didn't love where it went. I thought it was a pretty odd direction for it to go in. And it does try to get emotional. I don't think it really worked. But I still highly enjoyed Paddington in Peru. I think it's really good and I recommend it. And I still wouldn't mind more Paddington movies. Also, if you've been enjoying this video, thanks for liking and subscribing. Bye guys for now. Bye, it's Girl Thacker.